For a long time now, I have been writing and speaking about an experience that marked my life in a way I cannot easily forget. It is not a story I share for attention, nor for sympathy, but rather because silence has never healed a wound. Instead, truth, however uncomfortable, has always been the beginning of light. In the year 2024, on the 12th day of October, I was transferred to serve in the Crosby ward in Waterloo, England. At first, everything seemed ordinary. The ward itself was small, yet every Sunday I would meet many people outside the chapel. With sincerity, I invited them to come and worship with us. However, their responses were unexpected and troubling. Again and again, they would say, "That place is dangerous." At the time, I did not understand what they meant. Nevertheless, those words stayed with me, quietly waiting for meaning. As the months passed, I continued serving, moving through several transfers within that same area. Eventually, one evening, we were invited to dinner by a well-known family in Crosby, Doreen and Howard, whose home often hosted gatherings such as the Book of Mormon and Keystone Night. At first, it seemed like a kind and normal invitation. However, what followed would leave a lasting impact on me. When we arrived, the doors were locked behind us. Food was served, and soon the conversation turned serious. They began expressing concerns about members bearing testimonies in languages other than English. Yet this reflected the diversity of the ward itself, members from Brazil, Peru, Uruguay, Tanzania, and beyond. I, myself, was from Rwanda, while my companion was from South Africa. So, with calm conviction, I explained what I believed deeply, that in the house of God, everyone belongs. I told them that every chapel is like an embassy of heaven on earth, a place where all nations, tongues, and people are welcome. However, instead of understanding, resistance grew stronger. The conversation shifted from concern to confrontation. They began to speak words that were not only painful but deeply disturbing. They told me that I came from the lineage of Cain. They attempted to impose their own beliefs upon me, and beyond that, they spread harmful rumors about me. Over time, I came to feel that these actions were not only personal but were being tolerated, and perhaps even protected, by leadership at the time. Later, I was informed by Mission President Tunnicliffe that I would be transferred back to Rwanda to serve in the Kigali mission. Yet, upon arriving there, I felt something even heavier, that I was not wanted there either. In that moment, I made a difficult but honest decision. I chose to step away from the mission, not out of weakness, but because I did not want to continue in an environment where my presence seemed to create discomfort rather than unity. Through all of this, I came to recognize something painful. I had experienced racism, deep, structured, and deliberate. It was not always loud or obvious, but rather subtle, calculated, and at times hidden behind smiles and systems. It felt as though each step had been arranged carefully, leaving little room for escape. Yet even in that darkness, I turned to God. In prayer, I sought understanding, and in a dream, I saw something that unsettled me deeply. I saw Mission President Tunnicliffe laughing, filled with satisfaction. Whether symbolic or literal, the message struck my heart in a way I could not ignore. Therefore, I now speak not only from memory, but from conviction. To those who claim to believe in God, I say this: when you witness racism and remain silent, you become part of the harm. Silence, in the presence of injustice, is not neutrality, it is participation. Racism is not merely a social issue, it is a moral wound, one that cuts deeply into the dignity of a human soul. Yes, many strive to live righteously. Yes, they honor principles like the word of wisdom, they serve, they give, and they uplift others. And yet, if a person suffers because of racism, and the response is silence, avoidance, or indifference, then something essential is missing. Because true faith is not only about personal purity, it is also about courage, the courage to stand against wrong, even when it is uncomfortable. For a long time, I have carried this story. And now, I believe it has reached further than I once imagined. I have come to feel that perhaps these words, these experiences, may have reached even the highest leadership, perhaps even President Dallin H. Oaks. And so, I will not stop speaking. Day after day, I will continue to share my story until the pain I carry is acknowledged, until the wounds are not dismissed, but understood. Even if my voice is rejected, even if it is ignored, I will know that I did not remain silent. And in that, I will have done my part. Because truth does not fade when it is resisted. It only waits, for the moment it is finally heard. Written by Quinton Christian.